Hello, everyone. Happy New Year by the time you're seeing this. I just wanted to speak about the way we see ourselves. And the topic for this video came from a conversation I was having with a friend, and the topic of body dysmorphia came up. And it kind of triggered something for me because it's something that I haven't been diagnosed with, but it's something that I think about, and I think it's something that a lot of people deal with. So literally, what body dysmorphia is, I'm going to read it to you. It is a mental health disorder in which you can't stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaws in your appearance. A flaw that appears minor or can't be seen by others, but you may feel so embarrassed, ashamed, and anxious that you may avoid many social situations. And that's from the Mayo Clinic website online, right? So I can't diagnose you with that. You can't diagnose yourself. But in a broader sense, let's talk about how we see ourselves and how we feel about our bodies. Now, particularly as women, you know that we have our own unique set of struggles. At the same time, I don't want us to leave the men out because men can have issues issues with how they see themselves as well. A lot of men go into dieting, binge eating, also anorexia because they want to look a certain way, right? Whether it is to impress a woman or impress their friends or, whoever their love interest is, that is what happens sometimes. So I'm going to speak about myself. For those that know me, I grew up a pretty skinny kid. Yeah, most of my life into my adulthood, I was always skinny, even called scrawny. If you're Jamaican or from the islands, they use a term called maga. So that's how I knew myself when I was growing up. I felt a certain way about my rear end. I felt that it wasn't as big as other people's. I felt that it should be bigger, etc., etc., right? Then as I got older, definitely during and after college, I did gain some more weight. Everything kind of filled out the way I wanted it to. And then in my 30s is kind of where my weight got to a point of, okay, I don't like this weight. I kind of want to go down a bit, right? But throughout my lifetime, there have been different messages that I've received and repeated to myself about my weight, my size, my ratio, right? So, the way we see ourselves is not just about a number on the scale. It can be, well, I feel like my hips should be bigger, or I feel like my waist should be smaller, right? Or I want to get this surgery, or I want to use a waist trainer, right? I'm not saying any of those things are good or bad. I'm just saying sometimes the way we see ourselves will influence the products that we buy or the procedures that we go through because we want to make improvements, right? And I think sometimes it can be easy to compare with other women, compare with even our own selves. How many of us look at old pictures and say, man, in that picture I thought I was fat, and look at me now. So there's no way I was fat at that time, or I wish I had the stomach I had in college when I used to complain about having a chubby stomach or some extra meat on my stomach. And now, it's like I'm trying to suck my stomach in or make sure it's not looking too exposed or too pronounced in my clothes. So those are some of the things that I've dealt with. It's definitely an ongoing thing. It's something that I do want to work on with my therapist, but I think being aware of how you see yourself and the messages you tell yourself, that is so important because it can lead to some unhealthy behaviors and also some unhealthy mindsets, right? And definitely, we've heard that comparison is a thief of joy. So we should be careful when we start to believe that we're better or worse than someone else based on the body that God gave us, based on things that are beyond our control, whether it's genetics or the medications we're taking, whether it's our mood, whether it's having a stressful lifestyle that affects how our body looks in one way or another, whether it's a chronic illness that can affect how our bodies look. And this is easier said than done. I'm not perfect at it at all. And like I said, I struggle with this myself, but I did want to bring some light to this issue. Like I said, men and women deal with this. If you know me personally, sometimes I will talk, more in detail about some of the things I like and don't like about myself. And on that note, it kind of reminds me there's certain things that I'm very confident in. I'm sure you have the same. So no one could, for example, no one could ever tease me about the gap in my teeth, or like, oh, don't smile, don't show your teeth. It just doesn't bother me. I'm confident in it. I like it. I enjoy it, right? So, but there's other parts of my body, whether it's my face or the rest of my body, that someone could tease me about, or I do have insecurities about things that sometimes I'm cool with them, and other times I'm not cool with that body part. Sometimes I embrace them. Sometimes I'm like, oh, get away from me. Um, and one part in particular that I don't care for is my midsection. And I think a lot of people kind of struggle with that. It's a common area for people to gain weight in general, and it can affect, the size of your clothing. It can affect how you look in a bathing suit or what kind of bathing suit you want to wear, etc., etc. So yeah, I think I've been rambling on enough, but thank you guys so much for listening. If you have any tips, or if you identify with this experience about how we see ourselves and our bodies, please let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Excuse me. I appreciate you guys so much. Until next time.